What characteristics come to your mind when you think of a leader? Oftentimes people describe a leader as being someone who is charismatic, somebody who's self-confident, somebody who's a good communicator, somebody who can inspire, somebody who can delegate. Now if you notice, these are the same characteristics of an extrovert. Now does that mean that extroverts are great leaders and introverts not so much? Well, not quite. As we know, sociability is a spectrum. On one side there's introversion, the other side there's extroversion. And a lot of people lie in the middle. Not many people lie on the extremes. And this gives people the opportunity to maximize their skills as one and minimize their weaknesses. For example, Bill Clinton, who is a famous extrovert, was known for his great listening skills. A skill that's often associated with an introvert. Furthermore, Gandhi was able to defeat the British with his persistence, his conflict, and his charisma. Skills often associated with an extrovert. Now I'll discuss introversion and extroversion and how you can maximize where you fall in the spectrum to be a great leader.
All right. Well, what is an introvert? An introvert is a person who looks inward at themselves and their emotions. They tend to be quiet and keep to themselves. To them, their inner world is more stimulating than the outside. Some pros about being an introvert is they take quiet time. Introverts prioritize periods of solitude that provide to them with a powerful source of creativity and self-awareness. The second pro of being an introvert is to prepare. Introverts increase their confidence to influence others by increasing their knowledge while creating a strategy and rehearsing as well. The third pro of being an introvert is listening. This innate introvert talent actually helps quiet introverts like myself establish rapport and mutual understandings, especially when they observe body language and ask questions and serve as a sounding board for others. The fourth pro, having focused conversations. Introverts excel at serious, purpose-driven, and one-on-one or small group interactions vital for problem solving, working through conflicts and winning people over as well. And the last pro of being an introvert is within writing and social media. Allowing introverts to structure well-developed arguments that motivate others to action by sharing with their people the ideas that they come up with to content of others is the best way to use this medium for focused discussions. Alright, now we're going to go over some cons of being an introvert. The first one, introverts cannot express their true preference. They just follow what others decide for them because they easily go uneasy. Whereas an extrovert can seem so free to express their true preference or intention. Introverts sometimes usually agree with anything, though this leads to dishonesty and or uneasiness. The second con of being an introvert is a fear of confrontation. This makes it difficult for an introvert to be assertive or hold people to account. This is particularly problematic when dealing with external business partners on behalf of a company. The third con of being an introvert is unwillingness to take the floor. There's no need to attract attention to oneself, even if they might have a great idea or speech in mind. And the last con of being an introvert is during interviews, it may be at the introvert's disadvantage to contemplate their ideas and thoughts. At times, individuals look for a reaction and an immediate response. With introverts being more reserved and thoughtful, they could lack quick thinking and abilities, which may cause issues during the process.
Now that we talked about introverts, it's time to talk about extroverts. The definition of an extrovert is somebody who's outgoing, who likes and thrives in social environments, prefers to be with others rather than him or himself, and really feeds off the energy of a group. Some of the pros of somebody who exhibits this behavior is that obviously they're going to feel comfortable giving public speeches. They're great at communicating because they love to be around other people, which definitely helps them during interviews and moving along in the managerial process. Extroverts can also keep conversations going at a decent pace, making it seem natural and comfortable to talk to them. They also display a better sense of confidence and a strong personality. And with the use of their positive body language, they can have the ability to bluff or act their way out of potentially difficult or dangerous situations. But everything's not all good for them, because their do-think-do persona of just doing things without thinking them through can quickly get them into situations that make them appear pushy or thoughtless to others. Another difficulty is that extroverts have expectations to regularly respond confidently in any given situation, despite how they may actually feel inside. An extrovert is also have some more tendency to have weak ties with others. To elaborate, extroverts meet so many people it becomes challenging to build strong bonds with just one person. Another disadvantage is that we are so preoccupied with expressing who we are that we do not observe the world around us. They may not also work well alone, especially because they thrive off the energy of other people. And they're going to feel out of their element if they have to do something where they're not necessarily working in a team. And the final thing is that they're not always the best listeners. Because extroverts are always trying to talk and converse with other people, they may continue to express themselves and speak more often, not really let other people get a chance to voice their opinions as well.
Now that we have understood the pros and cons of introverts and extroverts, we'll discuss how they can improve their leadership ability in a team environment when they face one of the 5 dysfunctions described by Lencioni. The first of them is absence of trust. Extroverts feel comfortable in expressing themselves, but they must continue to listen in order to build trust amongst others. However, an introvert must be aware that this is a first step that might be complicated to take. An introvert does not prefer to be vulnerable, but must keep his mind open all the time. A good strategy is to have icebreakers and team-building activities where introverts feel comfortable, to foster trust amongst the leader and the team members. The second dysfunction is fear of conflict. Extroverts have a tendency to express their ideas, but must remember to more so embrace constructive criticism than fall into conflict. Introverts prefer to keep things to themselves, but this doesn't mean they are afraid of conflict. This means that there should be a different approach to conflict, since an introvert is less likely to interrupt others to place his or her ideas. A good strategy is to set an order of contributions. This means setting who will talk and when. This will help an introvert person to take advantage of his preparation and intellectual skills to express himself when the time comes. The third dysfunction is lack of commitment. Extroverts act first, rather than letting the situation play out. This is manageable by buying into the idea of the team. In this step, the most important aspect for the members is to buy in ideas or project. As an introvert leader, a good strategy is to wait until members of your team have stated their positions through healthy conflict. Summarize them and add your input, and get a possible best fit for all. This is gained by introverts' tendency to listen, analyze, and finally react.
The fourth dysfunction of Lencioni is the avoidance of accountability. Extroverted leaders conduct themselves in a way that makes them more comfortable in reaching out to others. However, they must be mindful of others' awareness and receptiveness to their ideas. On the other hand, introverted is less comfortable reaching out and talking to others. The team should create deadlines for specific tasks that must be completed by each member. Such deadlines will allow the leader to hold the team members responsible for their actions. Now, the fifth dysfunction of Lencioni is the inattention to results. An extroverted leader will put the interests of the team first, but they must remember to encourage other members to engage in an effort to ensure that the group's goals are aligned. An introverted leader, on the other hand, is able to analyze the member of his or her group. Introverts must take advantage of their observational skills to look for aggressive behaviors, for phrases such as, "I think differently," this group can't work. By identifying the egocentric members of the team and taking action, the leader can align the goals and interests of that member with the goals and interests of the team. Now that we have an understanding of the strengths and weaknesses associated with being an introvert or an extrovert, go out there, utilize the skill set to the best of its ability, and remember, leaders are made, not born. Therefore, you can continue to work on being an effective leader for the rest of your life, and I hope that we have given you the place to start. Thank you so much.